Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about Tampa Bay Buccaneers victory in tonight's video. This is a 44-yarder with 6 seconds left to tie the football game. And the Atlanta Falcons come short, and I had to show you this, but we're going to break down everything from this Buccaneers game, specifically more so offense, a little bit of defense, because it ain't always going to be pretty, especially week 1 on the road against a divisional rival, somebody you don't have too much film on in Michael Penix. And Tampa Bay did what they needed to do when they needed to do it, and they got away with the victory here. Alright guys, so this was a fascinating football game. It really was. 23-20. We got Baker Mayfield here throwing a touchdown. It's 7-3 Atlanta's way. It's 3rd and 2. They're on, the 28-yard line here. And we're looking down here at the screen to Emeka Egbuka, who is making his NFL debut. That's a horrible square, horrible circle, but you get the point here. He finished with 4 catches for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. Here he's running a little bit of a drag, and you're going to see this timing is phenomenal. This throw from Baker Mayfield, who, by the way, like I said, this was a really discombobulated football game, and then Emeka comes in with the touchdown. It was not Baker's best game by any means. He was actually also the leading rusher for Tampa, 5 carries for only 39 yards. We're going to show you a couple of them because they were always at really big moments. 17 of 32 for 167 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he had no interceptions, and he had 3 passing touchdowns. But around a 50% completion percent, only 167 games. I was kind of surprised by the Atlanta Falcons defense in this football game for just being so aggressive. They did a really good job stopping the run. So did Tampa's defense, by the way. They only limited Buccaneers to 24 yards on 12 total carries. Same thing for Tyler Algier, 10 carries for 24 yards. But this was Tampa's first touchdown of the game. It came at a really critical point because they really needed something. They needed some momentum going offensively, and this touchdown halfway to halftime, or halfway through the second halftime, was very big, very important. So let's keep going. So like I said in that last clip, Baker Mayfield did a phenomenal job running the football. You're going to see pretty much like a 20-yarder here. As I just highlighted, it's 3rd and 6, and we got Baker here early on in the snap. Doesn't see anybody open, almost gets it going. He's sensing pressure, probably feels like there's more so behind him, but we got 3 Buccaneers behind him. They're doing a good job, and he just continues to go. And this guy's such a workhorse, and unfortunately, because of NFL copyright, I can't fully show you everything, which we're still trying to find a workaround to. But he gives this pretty much 20 yards here on a 3rd and 6. This is just vital. It really is. We're about to show you some more here. Never ideally, even if it's like Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields or anybody, you ideally don't want your starting quarterback to lead the team in rushing. But Atlanta came in here and, obviously no Chris Godwin, no Tristan Wirfs at left tackle. Tampa's a little bit banged up. We saw Bucky get 14 carries for only 37 yards. We're about to get to his touchdown, so let's just get to it. All right, guys, this is like 2 plays later after that catch there, or that run, first down from Baker Mayfield. Take a look at this, 2nd and goal. We got Bucky Irvin right here. He's going to end up scoring this touchdown, something like that. And this is just once again one of those reasons where, and I'm so glad, we didn't see too much running back action out of the backfield. Bucky Irving had 4 total catches on 4 targets. This was by far his longest one for 9 total yards. So as you can tell, the other 3 went for, what would that math be, like, oh God, this is so obvious. This one feels so obvious. But anyways, my point is, I was hoping for a little bit more pass action between Bucky Irving, Rachaad White, maybe even a little bit of Sean Tucker. And, it really was a game of halves because Tampa's offense, they got going here in the second half. This was the big touchdown here. It was just a weird game. They didn't score in the first quarter. The Falcons' defense was dominating. Tampa started off with 2 drives, or 2 3-and-outs on their first 2 drives. They moved the ball down the field. Atlanta did on their first possession to take the score. And it took Tampa's offense a little bit of time and defense to kind of get acclimated into the football game. After Atlanta scored on their first possession, we're about to get to some defensive clips. But after Atlanta scored on their first possession, we finally started to see that defense ease into it. And from there on out, they were pretty dominant. Just the Falcons defense was doing a good job of making sure Tampa wasn't putting touchdowns up on the board. They weren't scoring too many points. So it was hard to come by. And Tampa did a really good job. And we're going to show you that game-winning drive here in just a few minutes here. But let's keep it moving. Hit that like button, by the way, guys, for daily Buccaneers content. Let's get to it, though. All right, so here we go. We got the one and only sack for Tampa. Now, keep in mind, that's right there Hassan Reddick, his first sack as a Buccaneer. This is Yaya Diaby, and we just talked about Diaby a couple of videos ago on this Bucs channel, and he's almost there for a sack as well. So they just do a good job. Hassan wins on the inside, pretends he's going outside, cuts in on the right tackle, kind of gets held there a little bit by, number 63 for Atlanta. Kind of holding, pulling him down to the ground, but he says, no, you're not going to do that. I'm going to take down Penix while I do it. Diaby had a really nice sack and unfortunately got mitigated because of a Jamel Dean face mask. But at the end of the day, on the road, once again, I know Michael Penix doesn't have too much film, but that's also a positive for Atlanta. You don't have too much film on Penix, and you're playing a road game in week 1 against a divisional rival. And I thought the defense did a really good job. You held them to 20 points. You did what you needed to do to win the game. Maybe you got a little bit lucky with the missed kick, the missed field goal. But, folks, a win is a win. So this is the game winner. Right here, Agbuka up on the top. And this is 1 minute and 4 seconds left. And Tampa does a good job of driving the ball down the field a little bit to get to this situation. I love the ballsiness. I love the guts on Baker Mayfield. You can kind of see him. Not necessarily pump fake right here or whatever, but a little bit of a pump fake, and then just finds Emeka in a one-on-one coverage, who once again had a phenomenal rookie debut, 4 catches for 67 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged about 17 yards per catch. We see him up here kind of running a post route. I like the concept by Josh as well. You got 3 dudes up here stacking them high. One comes down, one crosses the middle, and then, I guess it's a little too late for a draw here, but if we go to the top, he's running just a nice little deep post, and it's going to free him up, get him into man coverage here, and Baker Mayfield, a little bit of a pump fake, a little bit of action with his shoulder there, split second of time, finds him right there. Apologize. I thought we had one more clip. Here's just Agbuka showing a little bit of motion at this end. But thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. As always, we're going to do an all 22. We're going to break everything down, offensive line, defensive line, get into some player analysis, some more film study once we get that all 22 tomorrow morning. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I get it. It's not always going to be pretty, but at the end of the day, folks, a win is always a win, especially on the road against a divisional rival in the Atlanta Falcons. A team that notoriously did them dirty last season, winning both of them. So that's it from me. Give me your player of the game down below, any thoughts you have, and we will see you soon. Peace.